I read a book called The Psychology of Money, and in this video, I want to talk about the book and how I'm trying to apply it to my life. So welcome to episode 3 of Breakfast and Books, where I basically review a book and also give away breakfast. The time right now is about 6:30 and obviously not the time for breakfast, so I thought I'd buy snacks instead.
Hello again.
Yes, biscuits. Okay, got the goods.
Thank you, sir. Take one
No. Yeah, so I just got back and honestly that was such a heartwarming experience. So I gave the biscuits away to a flower vendor on the street, and this girl looked like she was younger than me and yet had a kid, and she was selling flowers, and after I gave her the biscuits, she actually offered me free flowers, which was so sweet of her. And she was like, "Bhaiya, free mein le lo, free mein le lo." But dude, that was so heartwarming. But now back to the video. Is it always true that the smarter you are, the richer you get? Do the financial experts actually know what is going on in the stock markets? And should we believe them on where to invest and how? We are taught about money too much like maths, with rules, laws and formulas, ignoring the human aspects of psychology and our human emotions. History and recent events
This GameStop situation is the craziest I think I've ever seen.
that even the experts have no idea on what is actually going on in the financial world.
We have some breaking news right now on what has turned into the soap opera and saga of the markets right now, and that is the story of GameStop.
And that is solely based on one fact. A lot of it works on sentiments and emotions and is something that we cannot measure and quantify. So, we can basically conclude by saying that money is more about psychology than anything else. These are my 3 key takeaways from the book, The Psychology of Money. Key takeaway number 1. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. What do I mean when I say getting the goalpost to stop moving? We all focus on getting richer and richer, or more like focus on earning more and more money. But what if through the process of earning more and more money, we adopt a luxurious lifestyle or we get accustomed to spending more? And in that case, are we actually richer? Getting the goalpost to stop moving basically means is setting a limit on how much money will actually make you happy irrespective of how much you earn. And ideally, that amount should kind of stay the same irrespective of how much your earnings increase. And as a result, you'll end up saving more and more of your income.
That was the only number I wanted to get to. 100. That seemed big. By the way, 100 and you're living a $130,000 lifestyle sucks. 42 and living a $20,000 lifestyle is amazing. There's other variables besides how much you make. Anybody who runs a business knows it's the profit at the end.
Key takeaway number 2. Money is merely a commodity. According to a study, irrespective of how much money you made, after a certain point, it just gave you a little more freedom and a little more comfort to do what you actually want. There are basically only 2 resources, which is time and money. Time is more important than money. Irrespective of how much money you make, time is the constant for everybody, whether you're a billionaire or you're a beggar on the streets. But if you have money, you can save time. If you have a car, you can save time from walking. If you have a maid, they can clean the house for you. If you have a cook, they can cook your food. And if you have a driver, you can save time even while you are in the car. Money is merely a commodity which gives you the freedom to do what you want with your time. Key takeaway number 3. The difference between being rich and being wealthy. A person who makes a lot of money can be considered rich. But at the same time, if he spends most, if not all of it, is he really rich? For example, we might see a person driving a fancy car and think, damn, they're rich. We don't know how much he makes. We also don't know how much part of his earnings he had to spend on that car. We don't even know for a fact if it's actually his car or not. What if he took a car loan to get that car and is struggling to pay off that car loan? From the outside, he may seem rich because he's driving that fancy car. But according to the author, true wealth comes from money that could have been spent or the cars that could have been bought but we choose not to. And that is why it is so hard to measure and rarely talked about. I came across a quote that really stuck in my mind. It goes like this. The richest man is not the one who has the most, but who needs the least. Let that just sink in. The richest man is not the one who has the most, but who needs the least. Honestly, after reading this book, my mind was blown. Like, we can be rich not by trying to earn more and more, but just trying and focusing on getting the goalpost of what makes us happy and satisfied to stop moving. So that brings me to segment number 2, how much I spend in a week in Bangalore. I'm just going to go over the general living expenses and not the major expenses like college tuition fees and all that. I think I'll go over all that in a separate video. Before I start this segment, I do not claim to have a very frugal lifestyle. But at the same time, I feel like I can maintain this lifestyle for a long period of time, irrespective of how much money I make. And there's a reason for that, which I will talk about at the end of the video. So please do stick around till the end. So here's a quick breakdown of all my expenses in a week. Let's start off with the most obvious one, which is rent. Rent cost me 10,500 rupees for a studio apartment in the heart of Bangalore city. Considering its cost and convenience, I really think it's value for money. I've calculated it on my laptop over here. So 10,500 a month comes to 2,625 per week. Second on the list is electricity, which cost me about 500 per month. Next we have fuel, and fuel for me is totally free because I cycle everywhere I go. But I also have a scooter which I take out at least once a week so that the battery doesn't die. So the fuel cost is there, but it's very minimal. So it'll be about 50 per week. Next we have food. I can basically classify everything that I eat into 3 main categories. That is vegetables, meat and dairy, and protein powder. Vegetables per week cost me about 600, which mainly consists of cauliflower, cabbage, tomatoes, and any other sort of vegetables which I feel like eating. Meat mainly consists of chicken for me, which cost me about 400 per week. And I also buy an entire tray of eggs, which cost me about 200. So totally meat and dairy for me cost about 600 per week. Yep, 600 per week. The third category of food which I consume is protein powder. And an entire tub of protein powder costs about 3,500 rupees, which lasts me about 1.5 months. So basically 6 weeks. So that comes down to about 600 rupees per week. The next on the list is Wi-Fi. And thanks to my owners downstairs who gave me the password long back, the Wi-Fi is still free. The next on the list is phone bills, which comes to about 600 for 3 months, which comes to about 50 per week. And the last two I look at more like investments in myself. That is my gym membership, which costs me 10,000 per year, which comes down to about 200 per week. And the last one is an audiobook which I listen to on my way to work, or when I have free time, or even when I'm going for a walk, which costs me 500 per week because I usually listen to one book every week. And the last category of expenses are miscellaneous expenses, which are other than the expenses that I've just talked about. So that I can say comes to about 1,000 per week, which is not evenly spread throughout the year. But if I were to evenly spread it throughout the year, it would come to about 1,000 per week. So in total, I spend about 6,000 per week, which translates to 24,000 per month. By no means am I telling you that 24,000 per month is a small amount, especially in a country like India. But remember when I told you that irrespective of how much my earnings increase, my expenses will always remain the same? And that is because of one fact. I really enjoy spending a lot of my time on things that money cannot buy. Things like working out, jogging, and cycling are things that I really like. And irrespective of how much money I make, those things will always remain constant. And same when it comes to reading. I know that reading a book per week costs me 500 every week, but at the same time, I look at it as an investment in myself, which is something I feel will pay off in the long run. That brings me to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.